What's up, everybody? And today we're going to be talking about updates with the Israel, Iran, and the US stuck in between the two. We're going to be giving them updates. I can't believe this video was going to be out earlier and I was going to record it, but it seems like within the past 24 hours, we have had all sorts of stuff happen. So we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. And as always, we're going to have them discussions in the comment section down below because I'm absolutely blown away at the community chatting, talking, people from different sides, people with different viewpoints talking to each other with respect, which is not what you see these days. So it's beautiful to see. And it makes me incredibly proud of this community that we're starting here and that we've started a long time ago, but seems to be building momentum. And it's quite beautiful. Before we get started though, check out Chug, 10% off, link down below for the best drinking vessel in the world. If you want to buy things that last you a lifetime, which is what I do these days, clothes that last you a lifetime, you want to almost invest in stuff that you know is going to not just deteriorate after a year like you do with stuff that you buy from Tesco's or Walmart and stuff like that. If you want to buy things that last, here, Chug, handmade here in the UK using sustainable materials, built to last. Keeps your drink cold for a very long time. And you can get 10% off, link down below, with free customization and a free bag. Can't get better than that. Also, check out Morale, my new business. Drink coming out very soon. Clothing coming out very soon for people who did not back the Kickstarter. And also, podcasts coming out every Friday or Saturday. I haven't nailed down the day yet. It might be Saturdays, I'm not sure. But check out the podcast if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. If you love the outdoors like I do, you're going to want to check it out. I recommend by typing in Morale Boost on all socials or on YouTube. Put in Morale and the Morale Boost podcast. And then if you want to check out the website and sign up for when the drink gets released to everyone on September 1st, if you didn't back the Kickstarter, and if you want any clothing, if you didn't back the Kickstarter, it will also hopefully be released September 1st. You can go over to drinkmorale.com and sign up so that you're one of the first to know. Okay, now that we've got all the admin out of the way, let's talk about what happened in the past 24 hours. Wow, we had a ceasefire. We had a violation of the ceasefire. We had fingers being pointed. We've had Trump exploding on camera. All right, let's break it down. Let me pull this up. This is the BBC, which I don't usually like looking at the BBC, but I do like their summary version right here. So we're gonna quickly talk over this summary. In fact, actually, no, we're not. No, we're not. What we're gonna do is we're gonna show this video first. This is what we're gonna do. So, bit of context for people who are unaware. Trump said that they've sorted out a ceasefire, which didn't seem to, or it was thought to be the case, but Iran said that they didn't get note of the ceasefire, and then they both carried on fighting. And so Trump came out and said this. Let's make sure the volume's up.
They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
So he's saying both Iran and Israel violated it.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay,
wow,
you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that.
It gets worse.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Ooh, he is pissed right off. One of the things that I wanted to point out with that is that he's really pointing the finger at Israel. And I don't know whether this is him seeing how the Western world's getting really pissed off with Israel, right? Like, that was already happening with the Israel-Gaza thing, with the Israel-Palestine thing, but it almost seems to be getting even worse now. There is a lot of Republicans who are saying, hey, we do not want to get boots on the ground in Iran. And I think that Trump and JD Vance were quite shocked at the backlash of that. And I don't know whether they're just like backtracking or whether Trump's being like, hey, look, they just violated the ceasefire and that's not okay. So either way, I think it's an interesting development we're going to look into. But let's break down this whole past 24 hours of ceasefire and then breaking of the ceasefire. Let me pull this up. BBC's right here, I think, is a relatively decent What's this new update that just popped up? Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally, Trump says. US President Donald Trump has again posted on his social media platform, both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally, he says. It was my great honor to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. The president earlier lashed out at both countries, saying they had violated the ceasefire. Israel says it has hit an Iranian radar, but has refrained from further attacks after PM Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to Trump. Explosions have been heard in Iran. Israel says missiles were launched by Tehran after the truce took effect. So Israel pointing fingers at Iran. Iran denies launching fresh attacks. So Iran's like, no, we didn't do it. Overnight, before the ceasefire was confirmed, both sides exchanged fire, with Tehran residents saying they witnessed one of the heaviest rounds of attacks by Israel. Local officials say 9 people have been killed in northern Iran, which absolutely breaks my heart. Israeli emergency service says 4 people were killed in Beersheba, if that's how you say it. Rescue teams tell our correspondents a building was hit where residents had been sheltering. Absolutely heartbreaking. Israel says Iran violated ceasefire announced by Trump, vows to respond with force. Again, this is just... And I want to preface this by saying this is looking like it's mostly left-leaning biases here. We're on ground news. However, let me zoom in here. However, we are seeing the major players on both sides report this, right? So Fox News are reporting it, CNN are reporting it, the 2 major left and right-leaning publications over in America. So yes, this is left-leaning by the looks of this percentage, but it's pretty much center this, if I'm honest with you. Basically, Iran has shot, Israel has shot, and they're both pointing at each other saying, they did it first, they did it first. It's like Han Solo saying, did he shoot first? Who knows? And now they just want to fight even more. On June 24th, 2025, Israel reported a missile barrage from Iran into southern Israel, causing at least 4 deaths, including strikes on Beersheba. The missile barrage occurred shortly after US President Donald Trump declared a full ceasefire between Israel and Iran, although Iran's foreign minister disputed that any such agreement had been reached. So he's saying that they didn't even get reached. The Israel Defense Force intercepted additional missiles from Iran towards northern Israel and scrambled air defense while activating civil alerts before later allowing civilians to leave shelters. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz declared the ceasefire breach and ordered forceful military retaliation, including high-intensity strikes against targets in Tehran, while Trump called Iran's attacks a very weak response. The incident highlighted fragile ceasefire conditions and implied continuous violations of both sides, warning of further military actions despite US brokered truce efforts. We got another one here, which I thought was very, very interesting. Again, it says it's right-leaning here on ground news, but it is being also reported by the big players on the left like CNN. So I'm going to personally say, although it's 46% right-leaning, I'm going to say this is relatively center, to be honest with you. Iranian officials tell CNN Tehran never received ceasefire proposal, which is weird, saying that they never got it. On Monday evening, President Donald Trump declared that Israel and Iran had agreed a ceasefire. We already know that, signaling the conclusion of a 12-day war. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi denied any ceasefire agreement existed, stating military operations continued until the last moment. The ceasefire was described as a 24-hour plan, with Iran initiating a 12-hour pause, followed by Israel after winding down final missions in about 6 hours. Trump wrote on Truth Social congratulating both nations on their courage and calling an agreement of the breakthrough, potentially saving the Middle East from years of destruction. Despite the announcement, neither Israel nor Iranian officials immediately confirmed the deal, creating uncertainty about its implementation. Got that word out eventually, didn't I? Which basically means they both saw this ceasefire and said, yeah, ceasefire, and then just carried on with what they were doing, which is an absolute disgrace, if I'm honest with you. There was an opportunity for de-escalation. And look, I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't think he's a very good leader, and that's just my opinion. I don't really care. You know me, guys. I'm very unbiased when it comes to this stuff. I just don't think he's a very good leader. However, if he did reach an agreement to stop the ceasefire, that would have been amazing. That would have been really, really good. But look what happened. Look what happened. It's like two toddlers who you can't separate from each other and just constantly... In fact, I have this with my two kids all the time. It feels like they're both constantly just fighting each other. And it's like, chill. And then they just start fighting again. And then you'd be like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, you okay? Okay, you go in that room. You go in that... Yeah, okay, everyone just take a minute. Before you know it, they're screaming at each other again. It's ridiculous. Let's see if there's any other updates here. I don't think there was any other updates as far as I'm aware. What's this one right here? 3 hours ago, Israel's Netanyahu said, let me pull this up, says he held off tougher strikes against Iran after speaking to President Donald Trump. So he's saying that it carried on. Israel Prime Minister stated that after speaking with US Donald Trump, Israel opted for a symbolic strike against a radar installation instead of tougher strikes against Iran. Trump warned Netanyahu against extensive attacks, emphasizing the importance of the ceasefire. Again, I don't like Trump, but you've got to, be happy when someone's turning around and saying, stop this shenanigans, which was accepted by both Israel and Iran following a 12-day conflict. Netanyahu reported to Israel's security cabinet that Israel achieved its war goals against Iran, including damaging Iran's military leadership and the mitigation of threats from its nuclear programs. Trump confirmed the effects of the ceasefire and urged both sides to respect it, stating the ceasefire is now in effect. But from what we've seen, that didn't really stop, did it? That didn't really stop. So it's unfortunate, isn't it? It's unfortunate because it just seems, this was 44 minutes ago. Oh, it was updated 44 minutes ago. Trump says Israel-Iran ceasefire is in effect after deal initially faltered. So it's apparently still in effect. Apparently. But I'm looking at this as you're looking at it, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think there's going to be fighting again tonight. Do you know what? I almost guarantee it. I almost guarantee it. Donald Trump warned Israel not to bomb Iran, excuse me, as he left for the NATO summit, expressing dissatisfaction with Israel's planned retaliation airstrike after the ceasefire deal. The Israeli military vowed to launch intense retaliatory, I can't speak, guys, strikes against Tehran after Iran's missiles attacked on Bashaba killed at least 4 civilians. That is dog shit. Israel Defense Minister, we already seen that. Israel state media denied any involvement in the attacks and accused Israel of fabricating the situation. I do want to end this right here, right? An 18-year-old Israeli killed in this. And I don't care if you're pro-Israel, pro-fucking whoever you are. I'm pro-humanity. I don't want to see any civvies dead. 18-year-old lads died. And I guarantee there are young people that died in Iran as well. This is not acceptable. If the ceasefire is in place, it needs to be held. It needs to be held. Otherwise, there's going to be more young people dying. If it escalates even more and we get fucking boots on the ground and we're sending our lads into the Middle East for another unnecessary war, basically just to help out another country, and a bunch of our lads die like they did in Afghanistan and Iraq, that's horrendous. Horrendous. Civvies dying. Military lads dying. Bombs getting sent unnecessarily. It gets me so fucking worked up. It gets me so worked up. This needs to stop. And again, it's easy. It's easy sitting here and just being like, stop, right? There's complications, there's history, there's frustration. It's so much more complicated than just being like, stop, obviously. It breaks my heart when I start seeing civvies getting caught up in this shit with people with massive egos. That's what pisses me off. Anyway, let's keep the discussion going in the comment section. The community we're building here is absolutely fantastic, and it's really nice that we're all holding each other accountable. There's been information I've got wrong in the past, and we read comments, and it gets disproven, and I get to announce that on next videos because we're here to build as a community and strive to be the best version of ourselves. Let's keep that up. Let's keep it going. Let's hope by the end of the week, and I said this in the last video, let's hope by the end of the week we're watching something fun and relaxing, okay? And saying, hey, thank God that they kept that ceasefire up. All right, that's what we want. Check out Chug, 10% off link down below. Check out Morale and Morale Booster podcast link down below. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.